U.S. President Joe Biden will urge Prime Minister Liz Truss to work with the EU to resolve tensions around post-Brexit trading arrangements in Northern Ireland, the White House has said. They will hold their first bilateral meeting on Wednesday, after Ms. Truss traveled to New York for a UN summit. Tensions between the two leaders have emerged over controversial UK plans to override the Northern Ireland Protocol. An adventurer from Lincolnshire is attempting to set a record for the world's longest non-stop swim in Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. Ross Edgley, 36, from Grantham, became the first person to swim 1,780 miles around Great Britain in 2018. He is now bidding to swim 100 miles, 160 kilometers in the loch in support of a sea kelp conservation project. This is the last time footballer Emiliano Sala is seen alive, as he boards a private plane that would crash and kill him on his way to the UK. The footage shows, for the first time, the Cardiff-bound striker about to board a small plane from France to Wales, which crashed in January 2019. The plane had been flying at 5,000 feet, but the pilot lost control while descending to avoid clouds and ditched into the English Channel, just north of the Channel Islands, at an estimated 270 miles per hour, 434 kilometers per hour. More than half of maternity units in England fail consistently to meet safety standards, according to the analysis of official statistics shows. Health regulator the Care Quality Commission rates 7% of units as posing a high risk of avoidable harm. A further 48% require improvement. The figures are slightly worse than a few years ago, despite several attempts to transform maternity care. Queen's name has been inscribed on a new ledger stone in the Windsor Chapel where she was buried on Monday. The late monarch was laid to rest with her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, in the George VI Memorial Chapel, alongside her parents and sister. Buckingham Palace says the stone replaces a black slab naming George VI and Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Pop singer Ed Sheeran has paid tribute to Jamal Edwards, saying he owed his career to his late friend's support. The star was speaking at a memorial for Edwards, who founded the online music platform SBTV, and was made an MBE for services to music in 2014. The entrepreneur died in February at the age of 31. I really don't think I would have been given the opportunities that I was given had it not been for Jamal putting his arm around. Students are facing financial and mental health concerns as soaring prices take a toll on their well-being, a survey has suggested. More than 8 in 10 of those asked said they worried about making ends meet, with the average maintenance loan falling short of living costs. The survey, run by the website Save the Student, suggested 4 in 5 had considered the prospect of dropping out of university. Half of those blamed money worries. Further details of how the government's energy support scheme will apply in Northern Ireland are expected to be revealed later. It is likely to include a price guarantee, similar to that already announced for the rest of the UK. The guarantee means a typical household in Great Britain will pay no more than £2,500 a year for electricity and gas for the next 2 years. NI has a separate energy system, meaning GB policies do not automatically apply. At the time of the GB announcement, the government said the same level of support would be made available to NI households. It has been working with the NI utility regulator and NI energy suppliers to design a NI scheme. Leading firms have begun a scheme to help black and minority ethnic students get jobs as chemistry researchers. The initiative follows an investigation which found that racism was pervasive in chemistry research. There is just one black chemistry professor in the UK, and black people in the field are less well paid and less likely to get promotions. The initiative, called Broadening Horizons, is led by the Royal Society of Chemistry. Its chief executive, Dr. Helen Payne, said the aim was to make a step change in getting black people in particular to pursue a career in science. Barristers on strike in England and Wales have been urged to return to work during their first round of negotiations with the Justice Secretary. Brandon Lewis said, "Constructive talks were held with the Criminal Bar Association and the Bar Council, but justice should get moving. The strikes over pay for legal aid work are set to delay thousands of cases." CBA Chairman Kirsty Brimelow said the group was willing to negotiate. Barristers start indefinite strike action over pay. She told MPs in September that barristers felt there was no alternative to strike action after meetings with Mr. Lewis' predecessor Dominic Raab were requested repeatedly to no avail. Some meetings were held with junior ministers and Ministry of Justice officials. The Royal Shakespeare Company is to have a woman as a permanent artistic director for the first time in its 60-year history. Tamara Harvey, who currently runs the Theatre Clwyd in Mold, North Wales, will share the job with Daniel Evans, who runs Chichester Festival Theatre. The two new joint artistic directors will replace Gregory Doran, who stepped down earlier this year after a decade. Anyone who thinks they are entitled to the help, but has not received it by the middle of September, should contact the office that pays their benefit or tax credits. Those who could miss out include the 850,000 pensioner households which the government says do not claim pension credit, which is a gateway to these extra payments. From October, everyone's energy bill will be cut by £400. This will be applied over 6 months, with a reduction of £66 in October and November, and £67 every month between December and March 2023. The discount will be made automatically by energy suppliers in England, Scotland and Wales. There is no need to apply. Mastermind's famous engraved glass trophy has been one of the most coveted items on TV for 50 years. Every one is unique, and they have all been designed by Dennis Mann, thanks to a chance meeting in the Highlands. In the summer of 1971, Dennis was visiting Caithness Glass in Wick to talk terms before joining the company as an engraver and designer. On the same day, TV producer Bill Wright was there searching for someone to make a trophy which would be the prize for the winner. The program and the trophy proved to be a great success, and Dennis has provided a new design based on the same theme for every series of the program for half a century. The UK-US trade deal could be many years away, Prime Minister Liz Truss has said, ahead of talks with US President Joe Biden. Since Brexit, the UK has signed trade deals and agreements in principle with 69 countries and one with the EU. However, the majority of these are simply rollovers, meaning they copied the terms of deals the UK previously had when it was an EU member, rather than creating new trading arrangements. Making trade cheaper is usually achieved by reducing or eliminating tariffs. These are government taxes or charges for trading goods across borders. A car importer might have to pay a 20% tariff on top of the vehicle's price, for example, to bring it into a country. The International Monetary Fund is among those saying that ending the current dispute with the EU over post-Brexit trading arrangements in Ireland could help revive investment by removing uncertainty. But the Prime Minister has made no mention of the Northern Ireland Protocol and that continued standoff with the EU could ultimately risk not just underinvestment but a trade war. Even with a boost to investment, supply-side reforms can take years to turbocharge growth. The plan to curb future spikes in energy bills will deflect much of the additional looming pressure on households and businesses, and prevent inflation accelerating much further.